It's getting harder with 17. Back with another EP. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all hit that like button. Y'all roll on in. I'm getting on the box rate right now. Getting on the box rate right now. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. But y'all stick around with your boy because we go do the open penalty. After this. About Ryan Garcia. It's been a busy week for Ryan Garcia. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but we gonna say that jump for the next stream. Y'all do your boy a favor though when y'all roll on in. Hit that like button for your boy. I'm about to get these guys boss Rex up. It's a fight weekend. I did the Cool Boy Step versus David Ramon fight breakdown their prediction earlier. This fight, David Morrell and Kalvin Henderson will be on the same card as the Cool Boy Step and Daniel Ramon fight. You know what I mean? The Showtime card. Think it's 3 cards on that fight. This fight, Morrell Jr. and Kalvin Henderson, and also the Cool Boy Step and Daniel Ramon fight. You know what I mean? 2 fights on the 2 other 3 fights on the card. I broke down, and this is the co-main event on the card. If I'm not mistaken, yes, this is the co-main event on the card. David Morrell Jr. and Kalvin Henderson. I don't know if y'all familiar with David Morrell or Kalvin Henderson, but this is what we here for today, to get you familiar if you ain't familiar. You know what I mean? Y'all do your boy a favor as y'all roll on in. Y'all hit that like button for your boy. Let me look at the chat real quick. Shout out my brother Just Do. Appreciate you sliding through these, John. Just Do. Glad you can make it, pimp. Glad you can make it. Shout out my guy, Cunner Loco Sports. Appreciate you sliding through this, John Cunner Loco Sports. Glad you could make it. My guy Cunner said he familiar with both. That's good. That's good. That's good. Let me get these box recs up real quick. Let me get them up real quick. Boom. Okay. Appreciate y'all sliding through. And I ain't going to be able to see y'all, in the chat as y'all roll in. I'm not going to be able to see y'all. So, y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all help your boy out. Keep it with me. I ain't ignoring you. I ain't ignoring you. But when I have my screens up, I just can't see the channel. Yeah, it's just that when I'm doing these breakdowns, I can't see the chat because I be sharing my screen. But let's get with it. Let's get with it. What's good, Naze? Appreciate you signing through this, John Naze. Glad you can make it. Let me get my screen shared so we can go and get into it. I'm here for a good time, not a long time, on this particular Southern T. You know what I mean? We got a busy fight weekend. You know what I mean? We got a Showtime card. We got a DAZN card. And we got an ESPN card, if I'm not mistaken. But this is what we're here for. David Morrell Jr., 6-0 with 5 KOs, 24 years old, 6'1", with a 68-inch arm reach. He's taking on Kalvin Henderson. Kalvin Henderson is 15-1 with 11 KOs, 6 foot with a 73-inch arm reach. You know what I mean? So we got Kalvin Henderson versus David Morrell Jr. David Morrell Jr. in this fight is viewed as the favorite. I'm not really sure what the exact odds are, but you know what? I'm finna take a look at it, for y'all now. But David Morrell is viewed as the favorite in this fight. You know what I mean? This is a fight where I wouldn't, be too quick to mess with the underdog. You know what I mean? I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. Kalvin Henderson will be David Morrell Jr. best test, up to date. Kalvin Henderson, is a game opponent, in this. But there is a reason that David Morrell Jr. is favored so high in this fight. Kalvin Henderson is more of an offensive fighter than he is a defensive fighter. You know what I mean? So his offense kind of is his defense. You see he's a pretty good fighter, though he only has that 1 loss and a draw. 15 wins, 11 KOs. So he has a pretty good, knockout ratio. 73-inch arm reach, 6 foot. He's a guy, he has some boxing. He has some offensive boxing ability. He will trade with you. He's a guy that's never been stopped, has a solid chin. in this fight, but going into a fight with David Morrell, you know what I mean? This isn't the guy, you know, for you to have many defensive lapses against. And David Morrell is a guy. He's a good pure boxer, and he has, you know, good to great power. You know what I mean? David Morrell. It's the reason David Morrell Jr. has 6 fights and 5 KO. And Kalvin Henderson, you know, may present, you know, some problems. And I don't even want to say some problems. Kalvin Henderson, we may see David Morrell, you know, style. We may see David Morrell have to take a couple rounds to get Kalvin Henderson out of there. You know, we're used to seeing David Morrell get guys out of there early. I think Kalvin Henderson will provide, you know, some form of problem for David Morrell Jr. simply because he's a guy who is going to fire off shots as well, and he does have decent power. So I think David Morrell is going to have to respect his power. But Kalvin Henderson, again, like I said earlier, Kalvin Henderson just has, you know, some defensive lapses in his game that I think is going to be all bad for David Morrell Jr. You know, in this fight, if I had to, you know, which I am, you know, if I had to bet money on it, I'd take David Morrell Jr. by knockout. This is going to be a 12-round fight. You know what I mean? So I think David Morrell Jr. by knockout is a pretty solid bet. Not because Kalvin Henderson is a bad fighter at all, just because I think the defensive lapses and David Morrell being 1 inch taller with a 5-inch arm reach on top of being, you know, the better boxer, on top of having that strength, I think it's kind of going to be all bad for Kalvin Henderson. But because Kalvin Henderson is a tough guy, he does have a chin, never been stopped, you know, will trade with you. I think he's going to, you know, put up, you know, a pretty good test versus David Morrell. Going to be a highly entertaining fight. This is another one of those fights I think going to be more entertaining, you know, than competitive. But I think it's going to be entertaining because Kalvin Henderson is going to be a guy who ain't going to run from David Morrell Jr. David Morrell Jr. ain't going to have to go look to find Kalvin Henderson. You know what I mean? What's good, A1? Appreciate you sliding through this, John. A1. Glad you could make it, pimp. Glad you can make it. Yeah, this ain't the guy that David Morrell Jr. is going to have to go and find. What's good, Naze? Appreciate you sliding through this, John. Naze. Glad you can make it, pimp. Glad you can make it. Devin Blocker. Appreciate you sliding through, Devin. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all hit that like button as y'all roll on in. Again, I'm here for a good time, not a long time with this video. Again, y'all, David Morrell Jr., 6-0 with 5 KOs. He's facing off against Kalvin Henderson, who's 15-1-1 with 11 KOs. This fight is going to be on the Stephon Fulton. What's good, Dwayne? Appreciate you sliding through this, John Dwayne. Glad you can make it, pimp. Y'all do your boy a favor, smash that like button when you roll on in. Yeah, this fight is going to be on the Stephon Fulton and Daniel Roman card, you know, coming up this Saturday. In this fight, I'm taking David Benavidez by knockout. Be on the lookout for that Joe Cordina versus who had Joe Cordina fight? Oh yeah, versus Kenichi Agawa. Be on the lookout for that fight breakdown and prediction. I'm gonna drop that joint a little later, but that's all I got for y'all. Skinner Hardaway Southern T. This ain't the past, this ain't the future, but this the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. Love.